Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday and welcome to the game plan. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at VerifiedInvesting.com. A lot to discuss. It is a little bit of a quieter morning in terms of action because, again, it was kind of a weekend where there wasn't a whole lot of new things, but that doesn't mean there aren't things to look at on a technical analysis basis. Number one, crypto had a huge pop on Sunday when Trump tweeted out about a strategic reserve. We know crypto had gotten pounded in the previous couple weeks and has now surged back up. We're going to take a look at the levels there. In addition, we have the jobs report this week. That's going to be major. And we're also watching key levels on the S&P and the Nasdaq to give us clues about which direction this market is going to go. All right, let's follow over to the big board and we'll take a look here at where we stand pre-market. So you can see this was Friday into the close, big rally to the upside, and then really Friday after hours was sideways, and then overnight into today you could see a little bit of a float. So the markets are continuing their bounce that started on Friday. Friday was a day where, again, the market came in a little tenuous. We saw that technology sell-off earlier in the week, but was able to get its legs under it and rally to the upside. So again, markets are opening in a little less than 30 minutes. It looks like we'll have a positive open. Now, if we flip to the daily chart, this is where things get really interesting. Number one, we have a major trend line that has denoted the trend going back basically to October of 2023. So that's a long time ago that this trend line has been respected. Here was the last time it hit until just last Thursday when we closed below it. But as we know, if it closes below, it could be a fake out. Why do we look for that? Because, again, I've seen it so many times in charts where they whip the institutional money or whatever it may be. They try to whip people out and then reverse it. And that's why we look for the confirmation signal. So sure enough, we closed below on Thursday. Did we confirm on Friday? Obviously not, as price got right back above that line. Now, again, the fact that it closed below does do technical damage to the line. It weakens this line. But at least as of now, you do not have a confirmed breakdown on the S&P 500. Now, that isn't the same for the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq confirmed a while ago and did get a bounce on Friday. But again, that index continues to look much weaker. But this week, with the jobs data and these other big events, and by the way, we're looking to see, do the tariffs on Canada and Mexico get imposed at midnight tonight, all right, going into Tuesday? That could be a big factor. It could also be a factor why, even though the markets are up right now, by the end of the day, do they start turning down unless we get news of some sort of compromise, which I have heard little nuances of on those tariffs. And I just want to make one more point here, is that notice how the markets are not really panicking over these tariffs. Why? Well, because the last time the markets were taught that, okay, they panicked, we sold off, and then there were no tariffs, right? It was like, okay, well, Canada and Mexico will help on the borders, so we're going to delay the tariffs. And so the market is now being conditioned, investors are being conditioned to think that the tariffs won't be imposed, that there'll be a last-second deal. We'll see if that ends up happening. Obviously, for me, I watch the charts. I'm going to watch for confirmation below this trend line. All right, let's go back here and take a look at the Nasdaq. I mentioned to you guys that the Nasdaq had already confirmed. We can see this trend line close below, no confirmation, confirmed, bounce, right? So again, there's your pivot low, gives you a sense of why we got a bounce. Now again, there's a couple different ways this could go. So number one, it could just chop around and eventually break to the downside, but it is possible that we could see a retrace to the scene of the crime before that next big move down. So again, just understand this level is now your new level to beat, but the bigger breakdown and confirmation of this trend, which goes back to August on the QQQ, that has now been broken, and eventually that means we should head lower on the charts. Now, a couple stocks in play. Watch this one here closely. In fact, I'm going to go to the big board to take a look at this. So let's take a look at Nvidia. So Nvidia reported earnings last week. Initially, the stock opened up. It then had a big flush to the downside. That continued into Friday morning when it staged a reversal. So again, look at this chart. We have a very defined trend line here that's easily watchable for everyone, right? I mean, you don't have to have a degree in technical analysis to be able to see what's going on here. So again, hit, and hit. Then here you hit, then you opened below, got back above, and then here again, opened below and got back above. So notice how it's getting saved time and time again, which is positive for it in the short term. But for us that are technicians to wonder if this is going to have another leg down, we're just simply going to wait for a close below, with additional confirmation. If that happens, you start, in my opinion, a bigger corrective move to the August low at $90. All right, but right now, if you just look at this, it has not broken support. It is holding its support. It does mean that it could float up a little bit. We just have to continue to monitor that technical line and use logic, not emotion, to base our decisions on investing. All right. Next up, let's take a look at a couple stocks that I'm watching closely today. Robinhood is getting a good bounce, nearing $55. So this one was a great short up here. When they reported earnings, the stock gapped up sizably as high as 66 bucks. It then fell all the way down here, kissing this technical line at around 44. It's now bouncing pre-market. Now, why is Robinhood bouncing? Well, because crypto's moving, and they make so much money off smaller investors trading crypto that you have to say, okay, well, at least investors are piling back in this name. Now, for me, what do? I say, okay, well, where would be a good retrace level to short? I use my Fibonacci tool. I take the high here to the low here on my fib, and I see that right here was a 382, and it did get rejected. Now we're opening, look at this. Today, 55.5 is the 50% fib retrace. There might be a day trade there. For me, not a swing short yet. The level I will be eyeing is this one here at 58 Pierce, which is the 618. It's my favorite of the Fibonacci levels, the Fibonacci 618 retrace, and that again is just over 58. So again, day trade maybe. I'll be looking at this in the Apex Live day trading room with members, and then this one again would get my attention at 58 and change as a potential swing short. Now you might say, well, why would you be interested? Why don't you think it's going to go to new all-time highs? Well, the essence is when you get a reversal from 66 to about 44 in a matter of 2 weeks, there is so much technical damage done that you play the retraces on shorts unless you close above the high of the all-time high, essentially that 66 level. So again, you always have to understand, it's not a matter of thinking. Like, you might love Robinhood. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean the stock is going to go up. It doesn't mean it's going to go down. You want to use your technical know-how to determine, is this a long opportunity based after this reversal of $20+, or is it a short opportunity on a retrace? And until proven otherwise, it's a short on a retrace per technical analysis and probability. All right, we are seeing MicroStrategy's gapping up this morning here. Pretty nice little gap up, about 10+%. In terms of resistance today, there is a level right here. Notice these pivot lows. So again, low pivot, low pivot. So if we were to get up to about 310 or so, there would be expected to be some resistance. You also have a down-sloping line that intersects right here. And so again, 310, maybe 312, this today would be expected to be resistance on MicroStrategy. Again, notice the combination, the cohesive nature of these two trend lines converging. When any two trend lines converge and price hits it, generally the resistance would be expected to be stronger than just one trend line. All right, Coinbase also gapping up, much the same here. So on Coinbase for me today, I'm keeping a very close eye on this low right here, putting a trend line in so we can follow it in the day trading room here. We can see right here, you can see that's levels right around 245 to 248. That should be resistance on Coinbase. Now, granted, let's be fair, right? The key to Coinbase and MicroStrategy's price action is probably what Bitcoin is going to do. And so you just have to remember, it's not like they trade in their own world. They're going to be influenced by Bitcoin. So you really want to have a level on Bitcoin at those same levels. Before we go to Bitcoin, I just want to show you guys one great trade from Friday that I gave out to you guys in the game plan. It was this trend line right here on Palantir. Look at this. So this hit at 79 and change, and today it's trading at 88.50. This line was given in this game plan, and it's already up well over 10% in just basically 24 trading hours or even less. Amazing move right there. All right, so let's get into Bitcoin now, because again, I do want to kind of touch base on what this chart is alerting us to, and I'll walk to the big board to do this. So we have a big surge in Bitcoin on the back of this strategic reserve that Trump tweeted. And by the way, just a couple nuances here. It wasn't a coincidence that he did this tweet on a Sunday. All right, a Sunday. Why? Well, because he knows that volume's lightest, and I'm talking about Trump here, and you'll get your biggest bang for the buck when the stock market is closed, right? So you don't have investors focusing on stocks and commodities. There's really only crypto to trade at that point. And so if he wants to drive prices up in the crypto markets, he's got to do it on a weekend. Sunday, perfect timing, right? Sunday afternoon, you don't get any better than that. So he got that reaction. And if you look at Cardano, it went up like 80% from that level. Incredible move there as well. So here we have a move back above the 92,000 level. So that's the first thing I'm watching. So it's closed above 92, but it confirmed below. So what do we know in technical analysis? Is that if it closes above after it's confirmed below, it must confirm back above to get and reestablish above the 92,000 level. So we need to watch for that. The other thing that's super fascinating, and I'm going to walk back to the computer so I can draw these lines for you as accurately as possible, is that look at where Bitcoin stalled out. Number one, look at these lows all along here. So remember this tight range we were in on Bitcoin? That was between right around 96,000. It was basically a 1,000-point range on Bitcoin for essentially 2 to 3 weeks. Well, if you put a trend line right through these lows, look at the high yesterday on Bitcoin. Then you think that's cool? Well, look at this. Take the lowest point of this entire consolidation move, going back to basically January, connect it through the second lowest point, connect it through the third point right there. Look at this, guys. Amazing. Low, low, and low, and you get your exact high. And again, it's just amazing how the charts can kind of guide us to where resistance will be. This sideways chop, and then this little upsloping trend line, that's the new level to beat here, basically at 95,200, give or take. Plus, you want to see confirmation above 92,000, all right? So pretty amazing there. Now, on Friday, I did talk up Solana. I told you guys, hey, listen, this thing is getting ready to pop. I said we got in it in the smart money crypto service. It sure did pop. No doubt about that, folks. If we take a look at this chart, and again, look at the support levels. Look at the drop. So I love the drop. Here it broke down out of this parallel. That's fine. It continued lower. And then from this low to the high, a 42% rally in Solana. I did take profits, by the way, with Smart Money crypto members. And by the way, in Smart Money stocks and ETFs, in the service called the ETF Trader, which is included, Ben, my head trader, he had IBIT over the weekend and just closed it out pre-market for a big score, IBIT being the ETF that obviously tracks Bitcoin here. All right, lastly on crypto, guys, take a look at Cardano. Listen, the surge was the surge. I didn't have any. It wasn't an alert that I had. That's okay. The point is, look at where it stopped. I had this former parallel right here, low, 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 and low. Highs right here and here. It broke down, retraced, fell, and then look at where it stopped on a dime right there. That's pretty cool stuff, guys. I love showing this because, again, if you love charting like I do, it's remarkable to see these type of things. Okay, let's get into gold real quick here. Let's see what gold is doing today. Gold is getting a technical bounce. I'll walk over to the big board so we can get a little change of look on this. And so basically what we're looking at here is we know that we have our support level here at basically 2790. That's this line right here. You did get a big fall right here. It was almost a little bit of a fake out, making people think it was going to go to 3K, and then it got rejected and failed. Notice the reversal kind of engulfing candle right there that told you sellers were really coming out of the woodwork. Down it came last week. You're getting a small technical bounce here. I'm still in the camp that even if we bounce up a little like this, eventually we see this level, maybe this level, before that next big surge to the upside. And again, for me, I still love gold mid to long term. It's just right now, if you look at this and you just use common sense, which is what technical analysis is all about, like, was this a short-term overbought move on gold? Yeah, for gold, that is extremely overbought in the short term to have this type of move from essentially 2,500 and change to 29 and change, right? That's what is that, 15+%, 17%. So it was due for a little correction. Now let's see if it comes back to the technical levels of support where I'll start accumulating gold plays again. Now, I was short the GDX up here, short Newmont Mining, made some good money with commodity members. That was awesome. Now I'm kind of back in. I still have a small short on gold, but I exited the miners just to take some profits and put it in my pocket. All right. Again, all these trades are given out with exact entries and exits in the services, by the way, if you want to check them out at verifiedinvesting.com. All right, so that's gold right there. We'll quickly go over silver, oil, and nat gas here. So let's let's punch up here on silver. If we take a look at silver, we have the up move in green right here. So you're getting a bounce. Notice we came into this little technical level. I would still be overall net negative on silver in the near term until it flushes out more. Now, again, how low can it go? I think I have it priced in around 28 area to flush down to. I have a down sloping trend line kind of in this range. There's also this area around 26. I know a lot of people want silver to go up. It's just very tricky with an economy that could be slowing here in the U.S., right? So again, we're looking at the jobs data later this week. That will tell us a lot of information. I'm also curious about how many government layoffs there have been in the month of February that'll be impacting that number. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Obviously, we'll check that out. All right, quickly on oil here. Let's take a look at U.S. oil, and we can go into that. Let's see here. If we look at oil, a little bit of a small bounce today. I'm still watching the support at 66. We'll keep a close eye on that. And then ultimately, lastly, natural gas. I still have a short on this. And today, last I checked, it was up a little bit, but we're still doing well. We're basically flat on this trade, give or take. I still would expect it to come back in here. All right. So listen, when all is said and done here, folks, what are we looking at? We're looking at a market that essentially is waiting on tariff news, jobs data later this week. That'll start to come out tomorrow with the JOLTS data at 10 a.m., I believe. Then the ADP on Wednesday, private sector numbers, and the non-farm payrolls on Friday. These are all things that we'll be watching. Plus, let's see, where does the S&P go? Does it close back below this line? Does it open the door for confirmation? I'm going to be watching those like a hawk. I will keep you guys informed as always. I want to thank you so much for supporting us here at VerifiedInvesting.com, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Take care.